So this video, as you can see from the title, obviously, winter warmers. What do I mean by winter warmers? It's been a while since I've done a kind of, what's the polite way of adult kind of, obviously it's not too adult, but winter warmers are kind of them more creative ways of keeping warm over the winter. In this specific video we'll be talking about kind of relations to a partner, but of course we can do that by ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that either, but more kind of, tender, intimate kind of snuggle fragrances and things like that. A little bit of winter loving, because winter is just horrific. I must admit, from a personal point of view, I'm not sure I'm down for that sort of thing when it's cold. You just want a cup of tea and go to bed and go to sleep, don't you, really? But each to their own. Anyway, we'll crack. So yeah, first up we have from L'Orchestre Parfums a fragrance called Bouquet Encore. I've kind of described this as a kind of explosion of spice and colour and warmth, with that beautiful kind of orange blossom feel about it, and even though that's not in there, the kind of tuberose and pepper. And this one is a kind of perfect winter warmer one, but as well as them warming spices and that kind of sumptuous dark orange reddishness about it, it's which you can imagine is a very warming colour. It's also them explosions of spices and intensity is like, it's what this video is about for a winter snuggle warmer thing. Horse riders is it's, you haven't seen your partner, might have been a long day, a long week, a long month, maybe they're at university in the forces or something, and it's that initial, when they get there, that initial explosion of warmth and what can we call it, excitement, clothes on the floor, your hot bodies together, that just huge explosion of colour, the skins touching each other, etc, etc. Again, I'm not Jilly Cooper, but that's a Bouquet Encore, and that's from L'Orchestre Parfums. Next is Chanel Coco, and this will be one of them. We know this cloves kind of floral notes, kind of a bit of a fruitiness, a kind of just a hint. Well, I say fruitiness, the sweetness of the florals. I think obviously there's a bit of citrus in the beginning, Chanel, but it's also got this kind of warm growl under it. Again, not like the old days. It's more modernised than that now, isn't it? But it is this kind of, maybe you've been on a long journey with them and you've, let's pretend you're young and you kind of can't keep each other's hands off each other and stuff, and it's that kind of, not quite sweat, but that warmth of the skin, and that kind of, maybe if you are feeling a bit kind of certain animalic twinge there, let's put it that way. And so it's nuzzling into their neck, that little sniff and whiff of that human carnalness, and is carnalness a word, but you know what I mean. And that's Coco. And again, because it's Coco, you'd be all kind of smartly dressed, maybe you've been to a business meeting, a wedding or something somewhere, and it's that kind of thought and promise of something a bit more kind of grr. So that's Coco from Chanel. We then have the kind of, one of the most kind of, should we call it lustful, the most kind of immediately makes you kind of think of that, I think, and that's Top Shelf from One Way Bridge. Now this is like, it's kind of based around someone who's come in from working all day. In my mind, a woodcutter or a tree surgeon or something, some hefty manual work, and they've come into the pub. They're a bit rife, not quite the right word, but they smell like they've been working hard. Maybe a hairy chest, maybe not, I mean, who knows. Hairy chests are good for us hairy men. Anyway, he's had a few drinks. You've got that sweet smell of the alcohol as you nuzzle into him, and the kind of soft, faint smell of tobacco in the air in the pub and stuff, like an old-fashioned pub. And then it's kind of got, you know, you're going home and you're kind of rubbing your hands up and down his chest and nuzzling into his neck as you undo his jeans, and you know, it's that kind of raw animal thing. And of course this could be reversed, you know, you undo her jeans and you know, before she gets in the shower, you know, a little bit of how's your father and that, and it's that kind of more kind of animalic need, kind of primal lust and warmth and what have you. So of course perfect for the winter. That's One Way Bridge. Top shelf. I didn't really say what it was like. It's booze notes, it's lots of different musks, kind of a more naughty musk. It's also got little hints of tobacco and stuff. Some warm, clean stuff, like not a castoreum, but like a castoreum, like an animal rug on the floor, or a big hairy chest, if you like. So yeah, that's a One Way Bridge as top shelf. Then we're going to tame it, calm it down. A kind of very beautiful, sophisticated, elegant one. Ombre Nuit from Dior. And this is this kind of almost like powder of rose in the wind with soft musks, and there are other things in there. But to me that's primarily what it is. A rose that's being just desiccated into complete powder, and then someone's blowing it at you. Not like rose makeup, but you know, that kind of, just that idea. And then musks kind of sneak up your nose and they kind of make you go, ooh. So it's kind of more of a tender, romantic kind of winter warmer. You know, a little posh meal, some glasses of wine, you know, her legs under the table wrapping themselves round you. The kind of slow build up, and then the polite kisses as you're in public and stuff. And then getting home to, you know, a bath of rose petals and this rose dust all sprinkled there. And it kind of works its magic seduction in that way. It's not a big lustful one, it's a tender, sweet, loving. So that's Ombre Nuit from Dior. Then next we have, kind of similar to Coco, but it doesn't smell the same, is Amouage's Fate. Now this is discontinued, what a bloody shame. But this has elements of them older kind of fragrances that were big, like Opium and Coco. Maybe a touch of the old Shalimar and that. It's this kind of floral fragrance. It starts off sweeter, kind of tuberose kind of way, but then it gets bigger and bigger, and you get this kind of dry but burning incense there. It's had a tiny bit of smokiness, and the narcissus. Actually, I find the narcissus more in the dry down, but it is there early on with just that tiny bit of that beautiful sweet sharpness there, and the kind of little bit of a fresh outdoorsy greenness, if you like. But this one is primarily like the big sweet florals that tame down. Now I don't think there is clove in this one, but it has that kind of almost coalery feel, probably from the tuberose and the spices as a whole in there. And then as it winds down, you do get a touch of the animalic notes in the boss. I think again castoreum, that kind of warm, furry snugness. So this is, you know, you're in your ball, you've been dancing about all night at, I don't know, a work event or something, and really when you get outside and you're waiting for the taxi, why not? It's a good way of keeping warm in the cold, isn't it? So that's Amouage's Fate. Then we have my catnip fragrance, Alien. This is, I don't know, say you've had an argument and stuff, and you know they're sorry and they want to make up with you, so they're going to spray a little bit of Alien on the neck, and it's that kind of dark jasmine, white musks, cashmere, and little hint of it nice and warmth like they used to do in the old day, not the entire fragrance. And it's just got this electricity about it, something well, I can't resist, and it's magic. So yeah, they spray the neck and a little bit of the chest with this fragrance. They come in the kind of like, well, I'm not sorry, but come here. And then you get close to them, you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, as you kind of start nuzzling their neck uncontrollably. And you know, one thing leads to another, the dress is lifted, the settee gets even more damaged, and it's that kind of a winter warmer. It's a raw, unbridled kind of passion and lust, and that's what Mugler's Alien is. Next is Siren Sailors from Juicebox, and I can never get out of my mind with this one. It's Claire Smith's description as this being a naughty party. Now, in my youth, I went to parties where we drank tea with our fingers out and spoke about deep philosophy and ate carrot cake and came up with groundbreaking ideas of how to have peace and harmony. Now, Claire obviously went to some wild parties where there was a lot of alcohol, what we used to call in our youth the shit mixes, where you just pour basically whatever's in your parents' cupboard into a bowl and down it. Yeah, I'm working class, I'm not ashamed. And yeah, it's one of these kind of, student house parties, lots of fornication, lots of booze. This one's kind of got this sweet rose, but it's not like an awful, or like a Montal rose, which I'm not saying is awful, but there are certain kind of sweet, plasticky, almost plastic potpourri roses. Again, no beef against that sort of rose, it's quite nice sometimes, but this has got a little more elegance, kind of got this leathery touch in, and there's just lots of sweet booze, a kind of peachiness. It's just a magnificent fragrance, really. It's fun, and yeah, we all know what went on in these house parties in our youth, and it would just be an awful lot of that, and that with the booze would most certainly warm you up at winter. So that's Sirens and Sailors, a kind of fun, boozy, rosy one. I need more time to film the video, so I'll walk back. But yeah, next is Woman in Gold from Killian, and this is a very classy fragrance. It's kind of rose, vanilla. There's a certain sharpness, a kind of citric maybe sharpness through there, and it's got this feel of aldehydes. I don't know if they're a listed note or not, but it's kind of this very classic one. It always does make me think of like an unreleased Chanel, but with that Killian touch and them kind of Killian magical musks in it. And this is your kind of meeting your partner after work, isn't it? We're old now, we're in our 30s, 40s, tired, but you're very pleased to see each other, and again it's going out for the lovely meal, a sophisticated drink with your workmates, and then yeah, just getting home for a bit of a snuggle because you're so tired from the day. A little few kisses, a little stroking each other's skin, and that kind of intimacy, and just lying close to each other and smelling this kind of mature, sorted, intelligent person next to you, who's just oozing in class, sophistication and elegance. So yeah, that's Woman in Gold from Killian. Finally, I didn't write this list very well, did I? There's two Killians next to each other. Never mind. Is Angel Share. Now this, we all know Angel Share. It's one of them that I always think it's not an extraordinary fragrance. It's not changing the world. It's not unique, but it's done to perfection really. Is this kind of opens with this boozy, sweet, fruity kind of brandy, which kind of runs through it. You know, you're out with your friends, you know, they don't know you and your partner are a thing really. So, you know, you're having your classy brandy drinks and stuff. There's a bit spilled on the table, and even though it's freezing cold outside, the fire is heating the woods, and you can smell the booze kind of seeping through and evaporating off these woods, filling the air with this kind of magical, beautiful brandy. And the spices coming from the kitchen, because it's that time of year, isn't it? Like a little hint of cinnamon and things like that. And you kind of sat there tortured, not being able to go anywhere near your partner, and that tension builds up and builds up and builds up, and there's kind of electric in the air. Your friends can probably tell anyway, they're not stupid, so you keep drinking your brandy and that, and then it comes to home time, and you know, you wave your friends goodbye, and she's still there obviously, and then she just kind of drags you to an alley and jumps on you, and even though it's freezing cold, that brandy has warmed you up, because that is the magic of my winter warmers fragrances. So that's Angel Share from Killian. So yeah, obviously I don't do smut well. It's not my gift in life, and because of my age, I suppose, and my upbringing, I find it quite a difficult subject to talk about. But it's always a bit of fun, isn't it? And during these, I know it's not now, when this video goes out, I mean, it's only 3 o'clock now, by the way, and it's practically dark. But when this video goes out, it'll be the depths of winter, and it'll be freezing, and it'll all make sense, won't it? But there are fragrances that give us that warmth inside, and there are also fragrances that definitely do give us that bit of, you know what I mean, and they don't always have to be musky ones. Or, I mean, most of this kind of thing happens in the summer, where we're all allegedly wearing citrus and stuff. So is that supposed to be seductive? I mean, apparently the most seductive thing ever is Sauvage and Oud for Greatness. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. What about you? What's your kind of winter seductive fragrance? What do you wear in winter to warm yourself up? Alright folks, thanks for enduring this. Bye.